Alright, me lads, let's do Tentacle Swarm first. You can apparently hold it now, and you get a Kraken. There he is. Oh, he looks really cool. Hello there, buddy. Let me zoom in on him. No, wait, where are you going? Come back. Oh, no. Lads, I think I've lost my Kraken. The tentacles seem to be faster as well. And wait, why are my tentacles black? They should be pink. Actually, now that I look at them, they look more transparent. Huh. Well then, 0 out of 10. Literally unplayable. Too much water, I guess. And this has been IGN. Have a good night. So hey guys, so welcome to another Warframe video, and the Hydroid, well, let's just call it a rework, has finally arrived with update 21.4. I don't really want to call this a rework because not even the chaps at DE call it a rework, they call it Hydroid Revisited, and it's basically the same thing they did with Oberon. They made him slightly tankier and tweaked his abilities a wee bit here and there. That's about it. I also don't want to do a full review just yet because they are still taking feedback on the changes, and they will probably tweak him a little bit here and there over the coming weeks. So what did they change with Hydroid? Well, first of all, they made him tankier. His shields went from 345 to 375, and his armor went from 65 to 200. This is a pretty good survivability buff in my opinion, because it gives you choice. You can either stack health and shields like before, or you can focus more on health and armor. You are not going to get as much damage reduction as something like Valkyr, even if you stack full armor, but it definitely helps. I personally stuck to the good old health and shield stacking, so vitality and redirection, and I may try primed vigor at some point to see how that performs, and it felt pretty good even towards the end of the star chart and at the start of sorties, which is really good because before this rework, Hydroid felt really squishy no matter what. Now, this rework focuses a lot on Undertow, Hydroid's third ability, which turns you into a puddle, and all enemies that step into the puddle will submerge and start drowning. So I think it makes sense to talk about the changes to Undertow first. So first of all, you can now move while you're in Undertow, but it's incredibly slow and it drains your energy. You can also click on enemies that are near you, which will cause a tentacle to emerge from the Undertow and pull them in, and you can cast all abilities while you're submerged now. And this can definitely be fun for a little bit, especially if you don't take it too seriously.
Commander, we have enemies on the horizon. Well then, Captain Hydroid, submerge! Alright then. Hurrah! Hurrah! Dum da 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 dum 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 da 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 dum dum dum.
No, wait. Da dum da dum 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 da da da. Get drowned. This is ridiculous. My only problem with this is that it's really energy inefficient, and if you're submerged in Undertow and you're casting abilities on top of that and you're moving maybe, you're gonna be out of energy really fast. It's kind of the same thing they did with Oberon. You can chain his abilities together and they're fun to use, but they're incredibly power hungry. Moving on to Tempest Barrage, which, as I've said already, can now be cast while you're submerged in Undertow, but it will also hit enemies that have been swallowed by the Undertow. You can also hold the ability down for a little bit and kind of charge it up, which will give you longer duration and more damage at the cost of more energy. And I'm not gonna lie, charging the ability feels a little bit awkward because there is no animation or anything associated with it, so you just hold the ability and nothing's happening, boom! Tempest Barrage, it is really weird. Then we have Tidal Surge, which you can now interrupt by casting Undertow and immediately turning into a puddle, on top of being able to just move around as a puddle in general, and it will now pull enemies in front of you instead of just knocking them around. This synergizes really well with Undertow because if there is a lot of enemies, you can basically swoop them up with Tidal Surge and immediately use Undertow to drown them. And finally, there is Tentacle Swarm, which can now be charged up just like Tempest Barrage, which will give you more tentacles over a larger area, but once again at the cost of higher energy. The tentacles, even though they can't be recolored now, they will always be transparent, 0 out of 10 IGNs and so forth, are much smarter than before. They will actually try to slam enemies rather than you just hoping the enemies will run into them and they will grab them and start flailing them around. The best change to Tentacle Swarm, however, is the fact that if you are in Undertow and you cast Tentacle Swarm, all the tentacles will spawn in the Undertow puddle, allowing you to choose where you want to spawn them if you want to. You don't have to do it, you can still cast Tentacle Swarm normally, which will spread your tentacles over a much larger area, but if you want to defend something like a Cryopod or an Excavator, you can just cast Undertow and then cast Tentacle Swarm, and it will cluster all your tentacles around the objective. And finally, the Kraken head that shows up when you cast Tentacle Swarm was a massive disappointment for me because I was expecting it to actually do something like swallow the enemies that have been grabbed by the tentacles, but no, it just shows up and it's like, what up? I'm a Kraken head. I'm gonna go now. It leaves. That's it. It's just a visual thing. So all in all, I would say this is good for Hydroid players. There's a lot of quality of life in here, but I don't think it's gonna make more people play Hydroid. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the direction they have taken with this in synergizing basically everything with Undertow. Because Undertow is kind of boring. I mean, it can be a little bit of fun here and there if you don't take it too seriously and you do dumb stuff with it. But as an actual ability to use in combat, yeah, I don't like it too much. But as I have said already, they are still waiting for feedback from players because it just released yesterday, so they may change it and it may not be as Undertow focused in the end. I don't want them to remove the synergy completely because, for example, the Tentacle Swarm synergy is good and generally just being able to cast while you're in Undertow is good, but sitting there in Undertow is just not exciting. You are this turret that unfortunately doesn't have enough energy to cast abilities. So let me know what you think about this rework in the comment section down below. I thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.